Hey everybody, welcome to Mondays with Mike. We have a special guest with us this morning, Remeisha Shade.
Hello, nice to see everyone.
Yeah, she's our new meteorologist. So you're gonna be on in the evening.
Yes, I am looking forward to it, like this evening.
Yeah, like this evening. I feel short. I can't even put this up, I feel short. But that's okay. Remeisha, you are I'm telling you, wait till you see her on the air. Dynamite. So a little bit of your background. First, if you don't mind, let's start with your education so everybody knows you're the real deal.
Okay, I am a graduate of somebody else's school.
Yes.
Your school, Florida State University.
Right.
So we are both Seminoles. So I do have a BS in meteorology from Florida State, minors in math and communications, and then I did go ahead and get my certified broadcast meteorologist seal from the American Meteorological Society, AMS. CBM seal number 294. So I'm very proud of that. I studied for 9 months for that too, so very proud of that.
And I'll tell you, it's hard to get because the AMS is the American Meteorological Society. Right. You have to have a certain amount of coursework. They have to review your submission. I was going to say tape, but that makes you sound really old. But I actually, for 3 years, I was on the broadcast board, so I had to review, other people's tapes and stuff, and I was a hard grader. I really was.
I think after going through it, it's okay to be a little on the tough side.
A little bit on the tough side.
Because you know how hard it is to achieve that goal and what you need to know. And, if they don't pass or get through it the first time, they can keep trying. There have been lots of people that didn't pass their first time, but that's a good life lesson. First you don't succeed, go and study, and you work on your craft and get a little better and try again next time.
And it should be hard to get.
It should be, because it's an honor, it's a distinction, it sets us apart.
And so during our time at Florida State, well, we didn't overlap because Remeisha's younger than I am. So you have to, at Florida State, you have to minor. The minor with math comes along with getting people don't understand that. You don't have to take a lot of extra
classes because you have to take so many math classes to get your meteorology degree. You automatically get that math minor. That includes Calculus 1, Calculus 2, Calculus 3, engineering math, and a lot of physics. So
a lot of physics, yeah. So people, a lot of people don't know how much goes into getting that degree. It really does. So it's, when you find out somebody actually has that BS, that meteorology degree, it's a big deal. It really is. So you were inspired to get into meteorology by a horrific storm.
That's right.
By a tornado. I know something similar happened to me where we were hit by Hurricane Andrew when I was going into my 11th grade year in South Florida, but I didn't experience what you did, which was, really destructive situation. Yeah. And so tell folks about it and how scary was it, and why something so scary would make you want to study it?
Well, that's the thing. It really scared me at the time, but then at the same time, it made me want to learn more about it. It scared me, but it intrigued me. I don't really know how I got to that conclusion, and the combination is really weird. But
this is in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes, this is just outside of Huntsville, Alabama. So it's Harvest, Alabama, so suburb of Huntsville. But basically, I was going into high school that next year, and I was actually practicing with the cheerleading team. I just made the team, and I was excited about that. So we were running up and down the bleachers in the gym at my high school, and
whoops, here we go. It's still going.
Okay, we had a low battery. Okay, we were running up and down the bleachers in the high school, and then all of a sudden, we heard on the radio that there was a tornado warning for Limestone County, and Limestone County is just west of where we were, which is Madison County. So the coach told all of us to go home. About 20 minutes later, the tornado was ripping into our home. My dad was actually outside and saw the tornado crossing the street. It started to rip up our fence post. So he's the only one that actually saw it, because my mom, my sister, and I were in the house. But he runs into the house, it's coming. And so we all run down the hallway into the closet. My mom and dad try to drag the mattress off of the bed to put it over our heads to protect ourselves from the flying debris. And then the rest was just crazy. Like, it felt like it was forever, but it was probably only maybe 20, 30 seconds. But it got really quiet. And then all of a sudden I heard kind of a whistling sound, and then that sound just increased and increased. The house started to rumble, shake, and it was just super scary. The pressure started to change. My ears were popping. You could kind of see things flying. We were never actually picked up, but a couple houses down, there was a couple. They were actually in their house. They were found outside in their front yard.
Gosh, can you imagine?
Fortunately, they lived. They did have a lot of injuries, but they
Yeah.
did survive. But to be sucked up, in a tornado and then placed elsewhere.
I mean, it was the real deal because you were sharing pictures before. I mean, the cars were flipped over, like
My
right outside.
mom was driving a pretty large and very heavy car at the time, and it sucked that car up. It flipped it over, and it threw it to, I believe, the neighbor's backyard, and the other car it threw almost to the highway. So.
It's something else a lot of folks don't know, unless you really pay close attention, is that Alabama gets some of the strongest tornadoes. A lot of people don't realize that because they think Dallas or Oklahoma City or Wichita Falls or maybe up in Kansas. But Alabama really sees some of the largest, most devastating tornadoes.
That is very true. A lot of people don't realize that because they look at Tornado Alley. What is the official Tornado Alley? And they think Oklahoma or down into northern Texas, which is the southern part of Tornado Alley. But in northern Alabama, we've gotten some of the strongest tornadoes, as you said, some similar and even stronger at times than in Tornado Alley. Both tornadoes that have hit my parents, because they've been hit twice, not once, 1995 and 2011, but both of those tornadoes were rated in the F4 category. In 1995, that was before the enhanced Fujita scale, so it was rated an F4. At the time, that was estimated wind speeds of 207 to 260 miles per hour. So just imagine winds over 200 miles per hour ripping through your house. I mean, that can do a lot of damage, and it's very scary. But then in 2011, April 27, 2011, my parents were hit by another tornado. I don't know if you remember, but it was the April 27th, 2011 super tornado outbreak. There was a huge tornado around the Birmingham area. There were multiple tornadoes in northern Alabama. I mean, it was just a horrific outbreak. The tornado that hit my parents at one point was as strong as you can get. It was an EF5, but by the time it rolled over their house, it weakened slightly to an EF4, but that still was around 200, greater than 200 miles per hour. So it has definitely been a really rough experience with severe storms for my family. They've had to rebuild their house not once, but twice. And they are really keeping their fingers crossed and hoping that they don't have to rebuild it again. I'm sure they would try, but we're hoping they don't get hit for a third time. They've already been hit twice in their lifetime, and I think that's more than enough.
Yeah, let's not make 3 times a charm. Luckily, the tornadoes that we get here, like right on the Gulf Coast, you never want any tornado, right? I mean, but we haven't had, like in the history of Houston, as far as I know, there's only been one outbreak of EF4s. And that was back in the late 90s. It was like 97 over on the east side. But the majority of what we get are like EF0s, EF1s. Definitely still scary. Definitely very, strong enough to cause deaths and injuries, but luckily not those the EF4s and 5s.
Yeah, the EF4s, EF5s, those are very dangerous, very scary. And in some cases, if you're not underground, it's really tough to even survive. So I'm fortunate that we do not get those for the most part here. I'm sure there's always an exception somewhere, but for the most part, they are the smaller tornadoes. But of course, I know here we're more concerned about tropical storms, hurricanes. We've been very fortunate this season.
I know.
We've been spared. We've still got a little ways to go, but hopefully we'll continue with that trend.
But you've gone through those too. You were in Beaumont when Rita hit. Which is crazy because Rita, oh my gosh, for anybody who was here in Houston at the time, it was the most scary thing because Katrina had just hit like 4 weeks,
a month before.
And so Rita at one point was taking up the whole Gulf of Mexico, had like 175 mile per hour winds, and it was pointed directly at Houston. And frankly, people just freaked. I mean, they had seen what happened in New Orleans and said, there's no way I'm going through that. So the thing is, everybody hit the road at the same time.
That's right. There were supposed to be certain evacuation times and routes that folks are supposed to follow, but they kind of panicked. And everybody said, I am not going to be here for this hurricane. They jumped on the roads at the same time. And of course, we remember it became a giant parking lot.
And
gas was scarce.
Right. And people just got stuck out there for like 24 hours. But so you've gone through the tornadoes, you've covered the hurricanes. You were saying on our morning show that in an outbreak in Dallas, I think, you were on the air for like 8 hours.
8 hours straight. It was the day after Christmas, December 26, 2015. It was another big outbreak of tornadoes. We had a very unstable atmosphere, and that afternoon and evening, those tornadoes just started to develop left and right. And we actually had one tornado that touched down, and it actually rolled across one major highway. And it just started to suck up cars. And of course, there were people in those cars, and some of those people ended up, getting killed, unfortunately. But we did our best to try to warn people. But, if you're in your car and you're not watching your television, or you're not listening to the radio,
how would you know? Yeah.
They probably didn't even know that the tornado was, about to come over them. So that is, our main reason for being here. We want to try to keep you safe. We want to prepare you before the storm, track you through the storm, and be with you after the storm if there's any cleanup or any aftermath. So we want to be here for you, making sure that you know what's coming, what you need to do, and how to stay safe in these storms.
So just to let you guys know, Remeisha is going to be taking over our evening news, not taking over, you're going to be providing the forecasting for our evening newscast. You can take over if you want to. But so we're on at 5, at 6, at 9 and 10.
Right.
And so, I'm at my place in the morning. I like waking up at 2 in the morning. Remeisha is going to do fantastic at night. You're going to love our team at night. Rashi is fantastic. Jonathan is fantastic.
Yeah, I look forward to getting to know them more. We've chatted a few times briefly, but looking forward to getting to know the team.
I think, look, you guys are going to really love it. Tell a friend, right? Say, hey, we have to tune in 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever is convenient for you to watch Remeisha. Okay, so let's talk about you, like not just tornadoes and all that.
There's more to me than severe weather.
Yeah. So if you follow Remeisha on Instagram,
yes,
which is
it's Remeisha Shade. It's at Remeisha Shade, but you can search for Remeisha Shade Fox 26 Weather or Wix.
WX, yeah.
But I still say weather.
So I saw one of the recent videos you posted was, you were dancing, you were roller skate dancing, which I like roller skating, but I can't dance at all.
I haven't really been roller skating like in recent years, but it's something I used to do when I was younger as a child, and then I've done it a little bit as an adult, but I really got into ice skating more in recent years. But I guess it's kind of like riding a bike. Even if you haven't done it, in a while, it kind of comes back. So I was trying to get back into it after not having done it for a while. But yeah, I was actually, on a trip in New York City. That was my first time visiting there, and they actually had they had 2 outdoor rinks actually. They had the Woolman rink, and then they had a rink in Rockefeller Center. And I really wanted to try out one.
That's the one you always see on TV, right?
Yes, but it's usually an ice skating rink. But they actually, over the summer, decided to turn it into a roller skating rink. They said they had not done that in like many, many years, maybe close to 40 years or something like that. So it was a very cool experience. And now I've got to go back because I want to try out the ice skating rink. But until then, there's plenty of local rinks here for me to check out.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We're going to have to get you out to downtown Houston. We have Discovery Green Park, and they do an ice skating, which you would never think they do an ice skating rink in Houston.
Right, because you think, how
outdoors,
do they keep it cold enough?
Yeah, but
they find a way.
Somehow they find a way to do it. And then we have the skating rink inside the Galleria. Now, okay, this is so funny. So you mentioned the word Zamboni,
right,
in a conversation the other day, because we were talking about ice skating on a cruise ship. And they don't have a Zamboni on the cruise ship.
That ice was a little rough.
It wasn't that great for skating.
It was something that I really wanted to try. But it was a little different. But the good thing is that they required you to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't used to it, so my head felt kind of heavy and awkward.
A little awkward. But you can
I'm
really
not used to skating with the helmet on. But I guess they figured if the ship is moving a little bit, or if there are waves, and then the ice is not the smoothest, you probably need a helmet. So I think it was a good idea.
So if you go to your Instagram page, you'll see. I mean, you could actually do and here's the thing, from a meteorologist point of view, as you well know, so you're doing this, what do you call the twirl where you're really spinning fast?
It's called the scratch spin. I believe that's the one you're talking about.
Okay,
basically, you go into it, you start with one leg kind of out this way, and then your arms are out kind of in a V, and then you pull your leg in, and then you pull your arms in, kind of keeping some tension, and then you kind of speed up.
Yeah.
At least you're supposed to speed up.
Yeah, no, it was pretty fast. It was pretty fast.
As you pull your legs and arms in, and then you finish, and sometimes you can take your arms and put them all the way up and have a unique ending to the spin.
And the crowd goes wild. But that's physics at work.
It sure is.
Yeah. So it's a good demonstration for everybody, especially when you talk about spinning things in the atmosphere, whether it's a
Right.
hurricane or a tornado or water spout or whatever, and then you can equate it to a figure skating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I hope to be out doing that live.
Well, we're really happy to have you, and I know that everybody there. So I want to make sure you follow on social media. So we talked about Instagram, Facebook. You could probably just search for your name.
Yeah, just search for Remeisha Shade and I should pop up.
Yeah, and Twitter also.
Yes.
I don't like Twitter. I really can't stand Twitter. You guys tell me what you think. Twitter is just it's so negative, and just everybody's always fighting.
Yeah, I don't like the fighting, but we'll try
Yeah.
to keep it positive.
But there is a lot of good weather information on
Yeah.
Twitter, like a lot.
It's great for, breaking news and, like you
Yeah.
said, weather news information, but,
Just stay away from those mean people.
yes.
So,
Guard
all right.
yourself.
Well, I got to tell you, look, Remeisha has a heck of a day ahead. So she came in this morning. We had an interview during the 9 a.m. show. I'm holding you up here to record this video, and then you got to run home, hopefully get some rest, and then you're going to be premiering
Yes, this
tonight.
evening.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Well,
it.
it's going to be awesome. I'm glad at least for the first week the weather's kind of quiet.
I know,
so-
after all of this talk of severe weather, at least I won't have to deal with it for this week because
Yeah.
it looks like it's going to be pretty quiet. We've got a big ridge of high pressure settling in, building back in. It's going to get stronger, and you know what that means. A lot of heat. In
lot of
fact,
heat.
near record heat in just a few days.
A lot of heat. All right, so thank you to our very special guest, Remeisha Shade, for joining us, meteorologist, for our evening shows here on Fox 26 News. Thank you so much for joining me here for Mondays with Mike for this very, very special edition. We're super excited, so make sure to watch her tonight.
Bye-bye.
And now I'm going to hit stop.